We've got some breaking news coming in right here, right now, and it's a point of discussion which comes in at the perfect moment when we talk about the Punjab squad. And the first name I was going to ask you about, and does he fit into the side from a cricketing perspective, is Christopher Henry Gayle. The question is, it doesn't matter because he is no longer part of that squad as of this minute. The breaking news is that he has broken the bubble due to bubble fatigue. That is the news we are getting in right now. In what manner he's done that, we don't quite know. But Simon Doull, purely from a cricketing perspective, that rules him out of reckoning.
Well, I can tell you this. There was a fairly strong call that he was about to do this on his birthday when he was left out of the team. And he was struggling, and there was a fairly strong call that the day after he was left out of the team on his birthday, he was a chance to leave that bubble, leave that team, and just take a break before the T20 World Cup. So I'm not surprised at all that it's taken a couple of extra games and the fact that he's done it.
I'll tell you something. He's not sort of slipped out without anyone knowing. I don't think that's what it is. If he expresses a desire to be mentally fresh, so he's not done something on the side. He's just said, look, I don't want this bubble anymore. I'll tell you something interesting. He came in during our last game in Abu Dhabi. Chris Gayle came in as one of those sort of timeout, the strategic timeout. We do a little interview sometime there. And he was asked about the bubble, and he said, and he laughed, he threw his head back and said, man, very tough. Very, very tough. He said, this bubble is very tough. And you can see he's gregarious. He likes to go outside. He's a man of the world. It should be okay, isn't it? I don't want to stay in this bubble anymore. I'm willing to pay the price. I won't get my full contract. So, okay. So no Chris Gayle. And that means, so Markram will continue. Pooran will continue. Who do they play? Let's put that squad up again. Fabian Allen comes in his place, you think, as a pure batsman, or Moses Hendricks comes in?
Well, do they strengthen their bowling with Chris Jordan as well? Is that an option?
But as of now, Dooley, their batting ends at 6. Harpreet Brar is a decent batsman, but he comes in at 7, and then it's just bowling thereafter. So if Jordan has to come in for Gayle, then
makes it slightly less.
Brar bats at 6, so there's even one lesser batsman. Unless Mayank is fit again, because he only went out with a stiff neck. Unless Mayank comes in for Gayle, and then they play Pooran and Markram and get Chris Jordan or a Fabian Allen for somebody else.
Yep, those are the options that they have. I think balance has been the one thing we've been talking about. But Dooley, we saw a lot of Chris in those few weeks in the Caribbean. You could see that he enjoyed, the nature of the bubble was a little different with the beach around and the pool and his family being with him and how much time he liked to spend with his daughter and saying goodbye to them. And I was there at the reception when he walked off and got into the bus going to the charter. Didn't serve well for him.
No, look, and it's I'll never say a thing about. It's tough. We're all doing it. It's not easy. We're very fortunate, I know, to have the job we have, to be able to do what we do. But it gets to you, and we don't really have an outside area where we are at the moment. So the only time we get outside is when we go to the van, to jump in the van to go to the ground to do our work, and then we come back and we're sort of locked in our hotel room again, and it's not easy. And I can understand, Chris has been around a long, long time. He's played a lot of cricket. This is his last World or ICC World event coming up, and he wants to go into it fresh and enjoy it, and he wants to be at his best. And if he thinks being at his best is not being locked up for the next 2 weeks, then I'm never going to argue with that.
But Harsha, let me throw a cricketing question at you, coming back to Christopher Henry Gayle. I asked Dooley in terms of, where he was and what he's like and being with family, etc. Joy mentioned the other day, and it was just a throwaway line, but he said, either give Chris what he wants or don't get him there at all. And what he meant to say is, if you're in there, for example, the other day you had Mayank Agarwal with a stiff neck. Now, it seemed a no-brainer that Chris finally opens, but he didn't. They had Mandeep Singh straight in to open with KL Rahul. Now, was he sort of getting frustrated with, apart from everything else to do with the bubble, that he was not getting his way in the 11?
I don't know. I don't know if they've made up their mind that Chris Gayle is going to play number 3 for West Indies in the T20 World Cup. If that's the way it is, then he must have said, okay, I'll play number 3 now. because, I mean, it makes sense for him to open the batting. That was the only reason I thought of, because Mandeep is not a regular opener either. So they've actually taken the greatest opener in the history of T20 cricket and put him at 3 and had someone else makeshift doing the job. So it had to have come with Chris Gayle's concurrence. But I agree with what you said. On a similar note, I think we had David Hussey at one of the interviews, and he said, with someone like Andre Russell, is a match winner. If Andre Russell says, I don't want to hit some balls today, I'm just feeling great, or I want to hit 20 balls today, you let him be. He's a match winner. He knows his game. You let him be. And I think with Chris Gayle, I'm sure there must have been discussions inside. You don't want a very unhappy player in your midst, because he's the legend. Everyone's looking up to Chris Gayle, right? Can you imagine Arshdeep Singh is sitting there in the corner saying, Chris Gayle, you know? And that Chris Gayle is crabby, angry, doesn't help. So I think he's not slipped out. He's not broken a rule. He just said, sorry, this is there. Yeah. And I won't be surprised if more people start saying that slowly.